The question is about the timeline. It was a very short timeline as far as this kind of film goes. As Drew said, Elena Semakina had a discussion with Ken. That was around July 2012 about how this would be a really great idea. And then around the time that Argo was being shown, premiered at TIFF in September 2012, was the time that Drew was getting underway. He is a partnership with Elena at Filmhouse, and was getting underway looking for archival footage. And we only did our first interview December 2012. I keep forgetting what year it is. This 2012, and then did interviews up till June 2013 in order to get this finished for September 2013. And looking for archival footage, we hired our editor. He started looking on YouTube for archival footage. Our archival footage people said, never look on YouTube for archival footage because you'll never find the source. It's all from all over the place. But he did. And then they said the second rule is do not think you can source your archival footage and then buy the rights and all that, and that you can do it within a few months. It's going to take at least a year and a half. And Drew looked very disappointed because he wanted to bookend it with Argo a year after Argo premiered. So, and Drew's really adorable. So everyone worked overtime and it happened. And so that was the timeline, and you can answer the second half of that question.
What was the second half of the question?
How did you get the interviews that you did get?
Oh,
Have a sense of who you wanted to interview, or one interview lead to
yeah.
another?
Yeah, it kind of started with Ken. You know, obviously he was the first one to come on board and the linchpin in this entire operation. And then as it kind of evolved, we ended up getting more and more people to come on board, and Flora and Joe Clark were very quick to agree. Contacting the people that were part of the six that were exfiltrated, the Americans. We had, I guess, 5 of them agree very, very quickly. We ended up interviewing 4 of them. One of them, who is Kathy Stafford's husband, Joe Stafford, was detained, or not detained, but he was stuck serving his position as ambassador for the United States in Sudan. So he never, during the entire course of our filming, was able to leave, and so we didn't end up being able to interview him. And then one other person who he said no was Lee Schatz, and he was the 6th of the 6. And I think that for him, he just felt like this moment, he'd relived it through Argo, and he just did not want to kind of look at his life summarized and kind of, all crux on just 3 months of it. And I think that he wanted to distance himself from the story in a way. And that was his personal decision. But then the Americans came very quickly. I would say Tony Mendez was a little bit tough to get because when we interviewed him, it was actually just after Argo had been just won its Oscar. So he was so busy. He was doing a lot of press for them, but eventually we were able to find a time where we went down and interviewed him in Maryland. And yeah, it was just kind of, there wasn't really any that were super difficult to schedule. Jimmy Carter had its difficulties, but other than that, I think people after Argo coming out, realizing its shortcomings as far as telling the true story or the whole truth or more truth, they wanted to contribute their interviews to the project.